It's so, so lovely to meet you, Abby. I mean, we've kind of just started with a chat earlier on, and it's interesting some of the things that we have in common.
Mhm.
Um, yeah. Now, we will be talking about trauma, which is not really a pleasant thing, but it's quite prevalent, you know, in our society. It's really, really prevalent. And I don't know about you. I'm passionate about working and just creating that awareness that can
Mhm.
help people's mental well-being, their physical
Yeah.
well-being, spiritual well-being.
Mhm.
you know I'm really, really passionate about it, and it's very close to my heart. Many, many professionals, Abby, tend to um they leave their baggage at the door in their
Mhm.
bid to be the best, appear to be the best.
Mhm.
But in your experience, um, how does unresolved trauma sneak into our workplaces and into leadership styles? Even when people think they've moved on
Mhm.
from their past experiences. So that would be my first question, and I think I'm going for the jugular here. But I think it's prevalent. I think there's just a whole lot of people who have unresolved trauma, and it just shows up in different spaces. So I'll just want us to start from the top, from leadership, and then we kind of move into parenting. We'll move into uh, relationships and everyday life. But in your experience of working with people, what does that really look like?
All right. Thank you very much, Fumi, for having me on your podcast. And so lovely to be here. So, before we even start, what is trauma? We're not going to assume that everybody listening know what trauma is, right? So, trauma is that very deeply disturbing experience that causes you distress, that stress you a lot out of your control. And when you go through such things, it leave mark. It leave this emotional scar that a lot of people do not see, but is yours to carry along everywhere you go. So you've asked others is sure for leadership. Those emotional scars can show up in different way in leadership to someone who is wanting to achieve a lot, wanting to achieve a lot, but because they have this bottomless hole in their heart, in their spirit, they are never fulfilled, regardless of what they achieve. So even though they are in this leadership position, because they are not feeling, nothing ever make them feel fulfilled. They are very difficult to please. They are
Mm-mm.
difficult to work with. They are never satisfied. So these are the people that are bleeding on people that do not owe them. They did not know their journey. They are not even aware that they are bleeding on them. These are people that will scrutinize you excessively. Their standard is ridiculously high, it's almost unattainable because this is what they do to themselves. They do it to
Mhm.
themselves and they easily do it to other people. These are people that when they set you target, you can't measure up. They can bring you down, they can trash you down, speak to you in a very, very condescending way that you start doubting yourself because they are projecting on you. And there are some of them, they are just there as a figurehead. People can easily manipulate them because when you go through trauma, you lose your identity, you lose yourself. Some people may still be functioning because they lost a part of them, but it's mostly the core of who you are. So when you have on one extreme people that you can never please, you have another extreme, they are like people pleasers. They want to please staff A, staff B, staff C, staff D. And you see, like it's almost as if they are running a circus because they just want to please. They can be swayed either way, depending on who is in front of them. They are very unstable in their leadership style. So it can show up as that. It can show up as those that you cannot hold them accountable. They hate accountability because the meaning that they attach to accountability is not the normal meaning you and I attribute to accountability. They see you as
Yeah.
challenging them. They see you as not trusting them because they are hypervigilant. When you're traumatized, you become hypervigilant
It's true.
because your amygdala is constantly being triggered. You are on guard. So when someone said, "Oh, this is supposed to be done by now, but we've not done it," it's like, are you questioning my authority?
Mm-hmm.
Are you questioning my capacity? But that was not your intention. So you can see you're trying to hold them accountable as a lead, as okay, you're a leader, you're supposed to be accountable, but they don't see it like that. They see it from a
No,
different lens. So it is really difficult. People that have been through trauma when they're in leadership is very difficult to work with.
absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I mean, you've highlighted some really, really important um, points there. Unresolved trauma creates trust issues.
Yes.
Yeah. And if you don't trust people around you, there's just it creates this toxic environment, you
Yes.
know. Um, they are emotional, unavailable, and
Hmm.
that shows up. So they are unable to empathize with people that are going
Yes.
through stuff in the workspace. They place themselves in that high standard and they expect everyone as well to rise.
Mm.
And they have difficulties in regulating themselves and communicating. So,
Absolutely.
yeah, that's just wow. Wow. And thanks for the explanation on trauma.
Mm.
I think it was Gabriel Matt that also gave that distinct explanation on trauma. It's like when you have an injury,
Mm.
a deep wound that's kind of not healed properly.
Yes.
So on the surface, it's got the scab, you know, deep down until somebody touches it,
Mm.
you know, and those are the triggers that you've mentioned.
Yes.
When there is a trigger that shows you that that wound is still there. It's not healed.
No.
It's not healed. And it could take a long time. So you may be going around thinking, yeah, you're okay until something happens,
Mm.
you know. And there are some cultural beliefs and norms as well, that we see that makes it harder for people to
Definitely.
recognize or even talk about it,
Mm.
the impact of their traumatic experiences. Um, in your experience again, Abby,
Mm.
how do you gently open up these conversations with people who, find it difficult to either talk about it or even recognize, but we can see that their behavior is as a result of something that has happened to them
Mm.
that's kind of shifted their perspective.
I see that storytelling is a powerful one. When you're
Mhm.
telling a story, you bypass people's consciousness because people are drawn in with that story they are sharing. And now you're not talking about you, you're not talking about me, we're talking about the story. And then when people
Mhm.
get drawn into that story, they begin to find themselves in those characters in the story. Hmm, that sounds like me. Hmm, that sounds like this person. And before
They're
you
able to
know it,
relate.
they drop their guard down, right? And also with the awareness that is going around all over the world right now, it makes it so easy. We have like we have the suicide awareness day, we have the mental health day, we have the teenager mental awareness day, we have people that have lost pregnancies, whether it be miscarriage or through ectopic pregnancy,
Mhm.
days like that. So when you start talking about those days, and then you start saying, okay, this happened, it is not a stigma on you. Now we're not focusing on anybody, we're just talking about the day and the awareness, the significance. And then the benefit of speaking out, or what you can do, the people that you can speak with that can help you. What you're doing, you are opening the windows, you are opening the back doors for people to be able to feel comfortable enough to go out and read those things, and maybe speak to those people that you have recommended, or maybe apply those tools. And the more they start that journey, it takes one step. Once you start using those tools, you open up this conversation. Like on a podcast like this, when people listen, they'll be able to see that, okay, this is what this is about. That was traumatic. This is the reason I cannot forget this incident, because it left an emotional scar in me. Some people don't even know what it means. Some people
Yeah,
don't know. Like when you and I was in school, I'm sure people were name called. That is bullying, you know that. And that can be very,
absolutely.
very traumatizing depending on the severity of that. Being constantly called with a body part that you cannot change. People calling you big eyes, people calling you thin legs, people calling you big lips. Constantly, you can't say nothing without them bringing those things, and you cannot change it. School become a place, a vicinity, or where whenever you go there is a constant reminder of the trauma that you endure, but you didn't even know it was trauma, and they call it name
I'll
calling.
tell you, a brief story, primary school. So primary school, we were talking about um 30, 35 odd years ago.
Mm,
I remember I used to wear, I mean, I started wearing glasses since I was
mm,
really kind of little, probably around when I was about 10 odd
mm,
years. And back in the day, it wasn't these plastic ones, it
mm.
was glass.
Yes.
Yeah. And I would have my strap.
Mm,
And I was one of the very few people in my class, I mean, in my year group that wore glasses, probably maybe one, the only person for a while. And so the kids used to call me Bottle.
how did that make
Mhm.
you feel, Fumi? How did that make you feel?
Self-conscious.
Mm,
Nobody would want to play with me because if it accidentally falls, it becomes, you know, a big issue or problem for them and their parents.
yes.
So I was isolated,
Mm,
and at the time, just like you said, I didn't think it was bullying, but I felt very, very uncomfortable. So lunch break, I'll just sit, and I was made to sit in front of the class. So
mm,
I would sit in lunch break and just going out for a walk by myself and come back by myself. I felt isolated, but I
mm,
didn't realize, what that was at the time until years down the line. But
yes.
it made me really, really self-conscious,
Mm,
and I would always remember that, you know, and it was traumatizing in a
mm.
way because, and I was listening to the podcast that you and your daughter did on
Yeah.
what's the word?
African trauma
Traum
syndrome.
African trauma syndrome, But these little things that we don't think about do have a significant impact
Of
in the
course.
life of people. Now, for me, the glasses thing may not be as huge or significant to some of the major issues that a lot of people face, but who am I to say mine is not huge
Yes.
compared to somebody else's story? Because at the end of the day, it's my experience,
Absolutely.
right? I can't trivialize my experience. I can't say, oh, there's no scale,
Yeah.
right? That would determine which one is more traumatic than the other. It's individuals, and that's one of the things I tell my clients.
Mm,
They were like, "Oh no, I know that the whole world, there's a whole lot of stuff that people are facing in the world, but it doesn't matter. This is your experience. This is how you are experiencing the things that's happened to you,
yes.
and you are important."
Mm. You see, it's a coping mechanism when we trivialize things that cause us hurt. We begin to
Yeah,
compare. There are people that are dying, but I'm still alive. But does that mean yours is insignificant just because you feel like, oh, it's not as big, so it's okay, I should be able to deal with it? If you do not deal with it, sooner rather than later, it becomes a trigger for you. I've had people in my sessions whereby they have, you and I, if you don't like the way I treat you, you can stay away from me. If I don't like the way someone else treat me, I can stay away from them. But the way I treat myself or the way you treat yourself, how do you run away from it? How do you, because it transforms into the internal dialogue that you have with yourself. The internal dialogue that you have with yourself on a daily basis. When things do not work out, you call yourself a failure. And then you are solidifying that belief more and more in yourself. And if people do not respond to your call, you see it as rejection. And then you internalize it. Those emotions, emotion is neither good nor bad, but those emotions that you now wear as an identity, those are the ones that are the killers. They are the voices you hear in your head. And when we begin to trace these voices, I tell you, those voices were never yours in the first place. They are the little subliminal comments from other people. They are the little comment that you never dealt with. Oh, you never do anything right. You are never serious. You're so clumsy. And then you begin to believe it. You begin to believe it. And then you wear those things because there'll be emotion attached to those things, those words. And then wear identity inside of you and the internal conversation starts. So when things do not work, I say, yeah, the person will say he's a failure. Yeah. And they never try. They have ideas, they never execute because they're afraid of failing again. So when you said those little things, they are, the little drops of water will soon overflow the bucket. And then before you know it, there's a flood. But who is having this flood? Are you having a flood internally or externally? You are exploding on people that never did you any harm. So trauma is, don't trivialize anything that happened to you. I believe in a proactive approach. Deal with it. Right? Deal with it. Let people see, oh, why are you making so much fuss here? Let me just address this, deal with it, and create a new belief with it. I know that it's fine. I'm good with it. And let me move.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's interesting because when we don't deal with the trauma, we project.
Yes.
Yeah, we project like we talk about in the leadership. Now, how, in your own opinion or understanding, how do you think a person's own upbringing can show up when they become a parent?
We parent the way we were parented.
110%.
Like, seriously, you think about it, you reflect, right? How are you parenting now?
100%.
We parent the way we're parented, and I am so glad with this self-awareness that is going around. This is why it's so important that you know yourself, so that self be true. Know yourself, know yourself, and don't assume the position of I know myself thoroughly now. No, you are evolving every day, right? So
Absolutely.
know yourself, and just have a flexible mindset, a growth mindset, and keep discovering yourself because there are experiences that you've not encountered that will show and bring up a new version of yourself. Even you will be surprised. So as a parent, right? There are things that it's time that when you become, even before you become a parent, sit down and ask yourself, what are the things that my parents did that I like? And what are the things that they did that I did not like? Begin to pre-parent yourself, right? So as a teenager in your 20s, before you get to your 20s or your 20s, yeah, your parents, you're responsible. Whatever you do is a report card to your parents. Afterwards, whatever happened to you is a report card to yourself. You need to go and reorient yourself and think about the things that you do not like. So sit down and think about it. What are the things my parents did and what are the things that they did that I did not like? The ones that you
Yeah.
did not like, you need to start. For example, let me give a classic example because I like telling stories. So my parents, I don't remember them apologizing to me. When they accused me wrongly of things, like you did something, even when they found that I did not do it, I don't remember either of my parents saying, I'm so sorry for accusing you wrongly. None of them. But
Mm-mm.
me, on the other hand, I've lost count of how many times I've apologized to my children. That when they do something and I discovered that it was a wrong, a wrong thing that I've done, I would just say, I'm really sorry for, for doing this. And I will explain. But they didn't. So I did not like the fact that they did not apologize. And the other part whereby there's this entitlement mentality whereby they feel the older ones are responsible for the younger ones. And then they
Oh,
grow
yeah.
up, they are dependent on you, and they don't
Mm-hmm.
even know how to be around you. It's almost as if they are demanding things from you, they are demanding responsibility of you. So I have to tell my children when I see that in any of them, like, oh, you need to do this for me. Mommy said, I'm just going to say, I know I ask your older one to do this for you. However, you need to ask of them in a very respectful way because they don't owe you nothing. I always tell them that your sister might be older than you, but she's not responsible for you. They owe you
Mm-hmm.
nothing. So I did not like that about my parents when they were doing that. Like, I'm responsible for this. No. So I have to bring that. I have to correct that. That no, you are not. You can help one another, but it's not a responsibility. So don't demand. You need to ask politely. So,
Yeah,
as a
absolutely.
parent, we need to always reevaluate ourselves because sometimes the way I will speak to my children, I hear my mom. The way I speak to my daughters, I
Same
hear my
here.
dad. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
asking myself, do you really want to go down this route? Because I already know the results. I already know the impact it had on me. Do I want my children to also have that? Do I want it to have that impact on them? And if I don't, I quickly reverse. And there are some beautiful things that they did because my dad and my mom, they absolutely love education. They were like a sponge. They love learning. So that side of me, yes, I want to be like that. Encourage them to learn, to be and do the best they can. So they are the part that I don't like and they are the part that I like. So I would say everybody evaluate yourself. You will parent the way you were parented.
100%. Yeah, yeah. Because I don't know about the, in Africa, parents then never used to be emotionally present,
Yes.
right? And I thought that it was unique to Africa, but I have worked with quite a cross range of people, and I understand, with the different parenting style, you have the helicopter parenting style, you have the, all those different parenting styles, they do
Yeah.
kind of affect the next generation,
Yes.
So for parents who weren't parented by parents who were emotionally available, they believe that I provide you with food, clothing, shelter, the basic um, needs. You succeeded, so you've turned out right.
Mm,
You hold a good job now. You have your own family, so job done. Tick. Now they have given birth to kids who potentially are not emotionally, but they don't understand, you know, how to connect on a
mm.
deeper level with people.
Yes.
Again, like you've just said, we need to self teach ourselves. What is it that worked for me? What is it that didn't work? How can I, change the narrative?
Mm,
What can I then do differently as a parent? You
mm.
know, some parents who were traumatized as a child show up with narcissistic traits,
Yes.
right? And they parent their children that way.
Hmm.
And they have created children who have extremely low self-esteem,
Yes.
low confidence, right? They don't believe in themselves. And that's as a result of how they were parented, and to those children, because I mean, I've worked with quite a few who are in that category, they're struggling with
Hmm.
relationships,
They do.
right? Because they just don't know. Um, they are people pleasers.
Yes.
Now, can you speak to those group of people who, you know, are going through those challenges, just are lost? What would you suggest?
Like I said initially, trauma erode your identity
Yeah.
when you are not allowed to be your authentic self. you will begin to wear a mask. And you will respond in a usual way in order for us to cope. Humans, we are built to survive regardless of the situation.
Yeah.
God has already done it like that. So it is hard for a human to die, whether physically, emotionally, or otherwise. It is hard. Naturally, we are built to survive.
Yeah.
But the astral senses, we are supposed to be thriving. So for people that are in that space, I would say, please be compassionate on yourself. It's a journey.
Yeah.
The first thing is awareness. And I would like to just quickly run through when people go through things that make them not to be their authentic self, they either respond with the 5 or the 4 F's, whereby they fight, they will become rebellious, right? Or
Yeah.
they will take flight. These are people that they cannot connect, they don't do connection. When they see you are getting too close to them, getting to know them, they
They
will
run.
just disappear on you.
Yeah.
They are the people that flop. They will do anything in order for them. They'll just do it, but they are not connected. They are de-associated. It's almost as if their life is like a movie to them because they are flopped. So they just go like a zombie, whichever way, right? And then there are some, they are fun, FAWN. These are the people pleasers. So these are the ones you want me to speak to. So please, like I said, be compassionate on yourself. Find out the reason you people please and when do you people please, because it's not in every situation that you people please. Do you people please when you have authoritative people around you? There are some people, anybody that is authority, their boss, their husband, or any friend that they feel have a higher personality than them, like those are subduing personality. Anything you tell them, they will just do it because they don't want any trouble. So you need to find out the root cause of your people pleasing, because there are various reasons. Do you people please because you feel isolated and you feel like you have to be in a particular group in order for you to feel validated? These are people that if you do not get 10 over 10 academically, you're not succeeding. Your parents will not validate you. These are people that feel like if you're not pretty enough, so when you're among the people that are the trendy people, then you feel validated. So you want to do anything to please them to be in that group. What is your root cause of people pleasing? Is it because of authority? Is it for acceptance? Is it because you feel like you are not enough? So when you feel or see people that you want to be like, you will do anything to people please them to be accepted in that group. So fine, the first thing is fine. Because even the doctors, when they are treating in the hospital, they want to diagnose what it is that you're suffering. So the symptoms are there, I know. So do a compilation of everything. Why do you people please? When do you people please? Where do you people please? And what does the people pleasing do for you? Is it validation? Is it acceptance? Is it stopping you from feeling isolated? So if you know the reason, then now you know. That's half the problem solved. You need to find yourself. Who are you? You can be who you want to be without anybody contribution. I know I always say we are not an island for ourselves, but if you are not self-sufficient, how are you ever going to? It doesn't matter what other people bring. You will never feel self-sufficient. So ask yourself why you are doing it and what do you want to become. Begin to find yourself. Begin to know that you are enough and you can never be. You are unique. You are a perfect and a master plan. Your mold was broken after you were born. There's never any like you and never will be like you. So you need to love yourself the way you are. You need to be enough and know that you are enough. Affirm yourself. Love upon yourself. Be comfortable with who you are. And when you begin to accept yourself, those that are for you, those that love you the way you are, you begin to attract them. And that isolation that you feel, you no longer feel isolated. That validation, you will get it because you've already validated yourself. And your tribe, you don't need to beg them to validate you. So you need to find yourself, be on that journey, find yourself, know who you are, know your strengths, know your weaknesses, and know that we all have a weakness, regardless of who you are. Nobody is perfect. It's going to be a journey. Accept your progress and celebrate your little wins as they come along. And when you begin to do that, you start flourishing. You just begin to love yourself. So in the workplace, we do our SWOT, don't we? So what are your strengths? Play to your strengths. What are your weaknesses? Is fine. Dedicate ways in order for you to begin to grow in those strengths. Or join forces with people that will complement your strength, and then they will all now begin to um complement your strength, and your weaknesses will not become so obvious. What are your traits?
Mm,
If you know that you are in a place, it's not everywhere that you'll be accepted. Be okay with it. It's not,
absolutely.
yeah, it's not everybody. No matter what you do, cut your head and put it on a platter of good. They will never accept you the way you are. And be okay with that. And be okay to walk away rather you feeling rejected. I always say when people
Thank you
say
so
no,
much.
it is
Yeah.
new opportunity. It is not the end of
Mhm.
the way. So just begin to know that. Know yourself, love yourself, and embrace opportunities as
Mhm.
they come along.
Wow, wow, wow. I don't know about you guys. I was taking notes. I was taking notes, you know. If you're people pleasing, understand what the root cause is. Um, Self-awareness is the starting point.
Mm,
You know, why do I behave the way I am? And that's one of the reasons why we always suggest journaling, because it helps you to understand the patterns of behavior.
mm,
Um, yeah, I mean, understand the root cause. Why don't I feel accepted? Why do I need to feel the need for certain set of people to accept me? Why do I need to bend backwards? Um, Thank you so much, Happy. I know at times kind of really fast spent, and I do really, really appreciate you coming on this podcast with me. You know, my relationship and I, because relationship with yourself is most important. If you get the relationship with yourself right, then your relationship with the world will kind of fall into place. But
mm.
we struggle when we don't, you know, when we're not in a healthy relationship with ourselves,
Yes.
you know. But thank you so much. I was going to ask you to wrap up with tips and points, but I think you've just done that beautifully well. And if you are not taking anything away from today, just remember some of the things, the key point that you said. And I think I'll just tie that into what I call SPA. But before I talk about SPA briefly, scripture says, love your neighbor
Mm,
as yourself. Self-love isn't selfishness, it's not self-centeredness, right? It's understanding yourself and appreciating yourself so that you can better serve others. That's what self-love is. You know, if you don't know how to love yourself, how can you love somebody else?
mm.
Yeah. And that's scriptures. But oftentimes we just cut the first part and we're like, oh gosh, I need to do for other people, other people, other people. That's not what we were taught. And inspire just simply means just self-awareness, right? Plan, take action, and reward yourself. Recognize those little steps that you are taking on a daily, regular basis because consistency is the key. You know, we may not be able to prevent certain events and occurrences from happening to us.
Mm,
You know, we have little or no control over what happens to us as a child. Even as an adult, you know, things happen, illnesses happen, accidents happen, life happens, we lose our jobs. You know, we can't stop some traumatic experiences from happening.
mm,
But what we can do is to take action. We can decide not to stop and stay in that position and heal properly. Um, if you've taken anything away from today's program, I'd love to hear from you. If you need support, if you need help, Abby works in the profession, same as myself. Reach out. Don't do life alone. Don't struggle alone. But reach out for help because you deserve the best version of yourself. You deserve to live the life to the fullest. Any last word from you, Abby, before I end the podcast today?
As you were talking, what came to my mind was, can't remember the Bible verse, but is know yourself. Even Jesus, he asked the disciples, he said, who do men think I am? And they said, you are the Son of God and you are the Messiah. And he said, flesh and blood did not reveal that to you. Now, this is Jesus. He knew who he was. And that was the reason he was able, no matter the persecution that he faced, it did not deter him. He was able to deliver and do what he came here to do. He did not get distracted. We go to school, we spend years and years in school to know subjects and then specialize. But hardly do we find time to know ourselves. What are your likes? What are your dislikes? What are your triggers? Why do certain things trigger you? What are your beliefs? What are your values? If you are able to know these things and you ground yourself, I tell you, it doesn't matter, like Fumi said, we cannot control things that will happen. However, we can know how to respond to it. So know yourself. And when you know yourself, you'll be able to withstand anything. Regardless of what happened, you will thrive just effortlessly. So know yourself very well. Thank you so much, Fumi, for having me. Thank you.
Thank you. It's my pleasure. It's my pleasure. And I'm sure that we would do this again sometime soon.
Okay.
But till then, stay blessed and have a lovely, lovely rest of your day, whatever you're doing, whatever you're joining us. If you're watching the replay, you know, this is your season. And I just believe so much that we're not just listening to this by accident. It's because you need to hear it. Take care. Awesome.